What's up, party people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time. DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you can have me at your next event. Me! I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Ah, yes, let me entertain you. Are you not entertained? Hey, this week's shows, I will be... Oh, well, before that, let me tell you who's on the program today. The Nite Ryder. No, not David Hasselhoff from the 80s. A different Nite Ryder. You're going to get to know him in the next few minutes. All right. Now, this week's shows. I will be at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. That is the video dance party karaoke jam from 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the AM. That's my one public show. Unfortunately, the Old Post Barbecue, it just wasn't building up. I do encourage you to head over to the Old Post Barbecue in Russellville, Arkansas, and support them, man. They got some great food, great people. They got frosty beverages. And, this is not a paid advertisement. I want you to go to the Old Post Barbecue and support those folks. They're good folks. Ray Black, the owner, and his wife, Anna, they're fantastic. Good people. And just everybody that works there are just wonderful. And they have some really good food in Russellville, Arkansas. So if you're in the area, head over to the Old Post Barbecue in Russellville. Now, Friday night, I can't say enough about the Rab. After a hard week, you want to spend some time with your friends at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. It's a video dance party, karaoke jam. They got a full bar. The kitchen's open, pool tables. They got a pool tournament on Friday night. So if you want to try to make some money on a Friday night, I encourage you to check out the Rab, Conway, Arkansas. Yeah, you heard me. And then Saturdays, always made for weddings and parties. I've been doing at least 3, more likely 4 weddings per month. Every Saturday, I am out at a wedding. It is so great to have weddings back. Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. I got a wedding this weekend. But unless you're invited, you cannot come. Sorry. All right, let's get into it with the Nite Ryder. Man, he's a very interesting fella. So you need to listen to this all the way through. Cool cat. Good dude. And been through a lot. So let's get into it with the Nite Ryder. Skyping the Nite Ryder now.
Because it's hot in here. It's hot. Philadelphia is scorching right now.
All right. I guess we could start right there, man. Nite Ryder in Philadelphia, PA. But tell me about Philadelphia. Tell me about the Nite Ryder. Did you grow up in Philadelphia?
Yeah, born and raised.
Born and raised, man.
Born and raised in Philly.
How's life treating you these days?
Man, life treating me great.
Yeah?
I had my stumbles and whatnot, but it's actually treating me great.
Well, tell me about that. This is your chance to tell your story to the people, how you became who you are, why you are the Nite Ryder. Did your mom and dad name you the Nite Ryder, or was that something that you came up with?
No, that's my stage name. That's not my actual name or whatnot. That's my stage name, and how I come about it. Getting the name, period, was from because when I was younger, I used to be outside at night all the time. So a lot of people called me a night owl. And then the rider part, I got a criminal history. So in jail, they called me either Cannon or Ryder. So I was like, hold up. In the streets, they called me Night because I'm always out at night. And in jail, they called me Cannon or Ryder. But then I was like, I'm going to use Nite Ryder. And I had the name for about a long time. I don't know how long, but I had it for quite some time.
Well, that kind of explains the name, because obviously KeysDAN's not my name. I'm from the Florida Keys. My name is Daniel. If you look on my Facebook, you'll see my real name sitting there next to it. So I think entertainers, they tend to do that. They tend to shed the skin of their youth, of their former lives, and become something else for the people, something to share with people, because you don't want to be who you grew up. You want to transform. You want to metamorphosize into something different, like a butterfly.
Yeah, that's true. Because if I was still the same person when I was growing up, a lot of people be in trouble right now. Trust me.
Well, there you go. It sounds like you've had times when you were growing up where you stumbled, and that's what life is, man. It's not failures. It's learning. It's learning curves. You fail to succeed, or you keep failing until you succeed. You don't fail and then quit. No way, no how, man. So tell me.
Yeah, that's true.
So tell me what's a little Nite Ryder, and I'm going to keep calling you Nite Ryder so it gets drilled into people's heads as they start to listen to this. You know, how was a little Nite Ryder growing up? What kind of things were you into as a kid?
Oh, growing up?
Yeah.
Man, I was bad.
Like bad meaning good or bad meaning bad?
Yeah, I was bad. Like growing up, going to school and all that. Like I stayed suspended. I stayed in fights. Yeah, I was bad. You know, like I was one of those kids that you couldn't stand. Yeah, you wouldn't, because when I got older, I had a teacher's aide walk up to me and ask me my name. And I was like, yeah, that's my name. And then she was like, you know, I hated you when you were going to school. Yeah, that's how bad I was. Yeah.
Well, looking back, what do you think it was that made you a bad kid? Because, you know, that's relatively speaking. A lot of people would say, I was a bad kid sometimes. But what happened?
Yeah, no, my parents, you know, my mom, she's always working and whatnot. And my dad, like, he was in my life, but he wasn't in my life at the same time, you know. And it was just certain things in life that it wasn't sat down and explained to me when I was younger, like death and all that. So I didn't understand what was going on. So, you know, I rebelled a little bit, and nobody understood the reason why I was rebelling and you know, causing all this havoc, because there was a lot of havoc I was causing, a lot. So,
well, a lot of times kids don't understand, you know, that daddy has to go out and work. Daddy's got a job. You know, a lot of times there was a joke. I think it was Chris Rock said, you know, you got to teach a kid a little bit more than daddy be right back, you know. But sometimes dad's got to work, man, 12 hours, 16 hours a day trying to make ends meet.
No, but my dad per se, as we speak, you know, he was around, but he wasn't around. What I mean about that is he was around when I was younger due to the fact that my grandma and my aunt. Once my grandma and my aunt passed away, I really didn't see my dad until, like, my goodness, I hit high school or something like that. So, and then after that, high school, I ain't really see my dad until after I graduated high school. So, yeah, he really ain't do nothing for me for real. Because I could recall the time it was an Easter, and it was some Nikes, some black. What's the name of them Nikes? They Forces, but the high top Forces that Rasheed Wallace was wearing, black and white with the strap in the back when he first came out. My dad asked my dad to get me them for Easter and whatnot. He went and got them, but he didn't get them. And what I mean about that is he went and put them on layaway and then come back and tell your mom to get them out. When my mom buying my outfit, you know what I'm saying? So that was the whole thing about that. But don't get me wrong though, like, he was an alright person, but he just wasn't an alright dad, you know. Because a lot of the stuff that I went through, if he was stern enough and was brave enough, I'm gonna say brave enough to step up to the plate, I wouldn't have went through a lot of the stuff that I went through. So,
Well, good. I mean, eventually he got into it. I'm gonna guess that he might have been a young dad. Not that that's an excuse or anything, but my dad was.
Yeah, he had me when he was 21.
Yeah, that's a young dad, And I know I messed up with my first kid. I knew her till she was about 9, and then they moved away, so I kind of lost track of her. And now I see her, online, and we talk a little bit on the phone. So I understand that. And then my dad, he left when I was 6 months old, and I saw him maybe 10 times growing up. So I understand that feeling. But, you always had mom. So mom was working hard too?
Yeah, mom always at work.
What did you learn from her?
Yeah, mom worked a lot. Mom workaholic. Mom work right now. Mom a workaholic. So my drive I get from my mom.
Yeah.
My determination I get from my mom, because my mom always determined to make it. Always determined to make it. Always determined to make sure everything's good. So that's where I get my drive from. I get it from her.
So when you're fouling up in school, your mom is pushing you along, saying you better get them grades up, right? What is she doing?
Yeah. She took stuff away from me, games, put me on punishment and stuff like that. But being a bad kid, I still ain't listening. So I didn't, but this is what I'm gonna say about that. But it made me strong, and it made me who I am today, because the stuff that I went through, a lot of people would have broke. Man, they just wouldn't have made it. Trust me. See, I'm from North Philly, and between North Philly and South Philly and West Philly, Southwest somewhat, no Northeast, but between them 2-3 areas, they rough. They real rough sections of the city. So if you're not strong, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it, and you got to be a fighter too. So if you're not strong and you're not a fighter, you're not going to make it. Even to the day in the city of Philadelphia, if you're not strong and you're not a fighter, you're not going to make it. So,
well, you just named like 3 out of 4 parts of that city you said are kind of rough. You don't want to live in the north. You don't want to live in the south. You don't want to live in the west. Maybe the east. Maybe
northeast is like suburbish. Southwest is like, depending on what part of Southwest you go to in Philadelphia, it's like suburbs. But Southwest can get real treacherous and dangerous too. But South Philly, West Philly, and North Philly, it go down, and you got to be strong. If you're not strong, you're not gonna survive in the city.
Well, a lot of kids learn how to box. They learn martial arts. Did you learn boxing, martial arts, or was it street fighting only?
No. See, I got me per se, my mom kept me in a lot of stuff when I was younger. So, and my uncle was a professional boxer. His name was Michael Brown. He fought over Russia and all that. And so when I was a baby growing up, I was in the gym. So, somewhat. And I played basketball, football. I wrestled in high school, and I took martial arts too. So my mom, she tried to keep me grounded and try to put some type of stableness behind me. But I rebelled.
Yeah, I mean, but that stuff gets real expensive, especially if you got a hardworking mom that's trying to make ends meet. I remember when I took karate and taekwondo and any of those martial arts, man, it's like $50 a month.
Taekwondo? You took taekwondo?
I took taekwondo. I'm a yellow belt in so many different. I never made it that far. That's only the second thing. I'm a yellow belt in.
I made it. made it over to Brown. I was
What?
going. Yeah, I was on my way to take my test for my black belt, and I got out, and I took Okinawa Goju-Ryu. Taekwondo ain't nothing but strikes.
Yeah.
That's it. Okinawa Goju-Ryu is all blocked, so it's really hard for a person to hit me.
Yeah, I think when I was a kid, it was Goju karate, so that might be something to do with the Goju-Ryu. That sounds familiar to me. But when I was a kid, I took that, and it was a lot of hands. But then Taekwondo made your feet like your hands, like your legs. So yeah, if you know, yeah, if you know both of those, and then I had a Hapkido was mixed with the Taekwondo, and that was like flips and using their body of force against them, kind of like Aikido. But yeah, man, I think that the sports and the group efforts, that is what keeps people, from it helps so much, especially somebody who's troubled and doesn't have the guidance at home. You got a coach, you got a sensei, you got somebody that's helping you along the way.
Right.
And I know that I've got a little bit out of those martial arts and team sports. So would you say that was the best thing that you got out of high school, was the team sports and that kind of thing?
Yeah, like I got a lot out of it. Like I learned a lot. Trust me, like I learned a lot.
Yeah.
It kept me grounded to a certain extent. It kept me grounded. But once again, I was a bad kid. I was bad as an adult. I was fairly bad in my early 20s and whatnot. Now I'm just level.
Well, usually kids don't become bad on their own. They usually have somebody that'll say, no. Hey, can you do this little thing for me? Can you do this little thing for me? And it kind of pushes you in the wrong.
I was born bad.
That's nature versus nurture, man. Nature versus nurture.
It's nature, because I have a daughter now. She's 9 months old, and she's born bad. She's bad. She's bad.
I get it. I get it, man. And I think that we reap what we sow.
It don't always have to, like, a person have to tell you, can you try to do this? It comes from the household. You know what I'm saying? From the most, and your genes at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, I was born bad, so it was passed down to my daughter, but it wasn't passed down to my son. So,
well, good. 1 out of 2 ain't bad. That ain't bad.
I'd rather for it be my daughter than my son. For the most part, anyway, because living in this city, young adults don't make it.
So she'll grow up tough. She'll be tough and take care of herself.
Yeah, right. So I'm glad that she had that part in me, the born bad part, because she'd be able to take care of herself. Won't have to worry about no guy, running over or stuff like that. Now my son, he's a good kid. He work, he do what he's supposed to do, So he's spoiled your brat too. So we get whatever we want.
Well,
so, that's.
Well, Nite Ryder, you got at least 2 kids. Happy Father's Day. I know that was yesterday, and I appreciate you being here on this podcast and teaching people a little bit about who you are and how you became who you are. It's when did you figure out that you? Were you good in English and math, or maybe like history? There's ways to become a wordsmith. How words mix together, because
how I put words together. All right. No, that takes practice. Yeah, it's a skill.
Yeah,
it's a gift, but it takes practice. To put words together and to put a song together. It's basic concepts. If you come up with a good concept and you come up with good lyrics for it, then you're good. But it takes practice, and I've been doing this for a very, very, very long time. Got over like 20 years of doing this.
And so how old are you now? How old were you?
My birthday was yesterday, so I'm a year older now. I'm 42.
So happy birthday and happy Father's Day at the same time. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So for 20 years, you've known that you were a wordsmith. So I figured it was something that you picked up in high school, you know, kind of to keep people off of you. If you're in a fight and you could talk your way out of it, that's one thing you can do.
One thing about me, I love to fight. So I ain't talking nothing. I ain't talking my way out of nothing. I want to fight. So I ain't talking my way out of nothing. And I'm ready. But what? All right. In 2000, between 98 and 2000, that's when I figured out that I was good in rapping, and it took some time. I really, like, nowadays, I really don't write songs. I don't write. A lot of people sit in studios or they sit with a beat running and they write to it.
Right.
I don't write at all. I don't write. I just started back writing because I said I wanted to homegrown my writing skills again. I haven't written a song, an actual song, in about 4 years.
So
all the music that's coming out now is straight from my head. Like, when my producer made it in front of me, and I went inside the booth and I just went at it.
So freestyle.
So yeah, it's basically, yeah, real freestyle, not what they call freestyle when it's pre-written and you remember it and you say it. No.
Right,
because
right.
Half of the stuff I have to go over my songs a million times so I can remember it because it's actual freestyle. It's nothing that I pre-written and I put in my head and I say I freestyle.
Well, you're giving people a little idea of what the actual freestyle is, because people have, you know, maybe like a bank of rhymes in their head, words that rhyme.
And freestyling. But they're not freestyling. They got something that they've written down and they just memorized it. That was it. That's not freestyling. That's writing.
Yeah, but
that's
you have to have some base knowledge before you can spit anything out like on the fly. You got to know what that words rhyme together or they go together and concepts.
Now, see, the thing about me, I let the beat talk to me. That's how I come up with it. Whatever the beat tell me, let's say a beat play right now, right? And it tell me to make a trap song. So I'm going to make a trap song. If the beat come on and it tell me, all right, you either tone it down and make it a female song or any type of song, I'll do it. Whatever the beat talk to me, you know, it tells me what I need to put down.
Man, so who's making the beats for you? Are you making them yourself, or you have somebody that makes them for you?
No, I have one exclusive producer. His name is Yuri. He makes all my beats, but then I got another producer that's in Russia that makes my beats too. He just sent me a boatload of beats over probably like last week or sometime, and I told him I'm gonna script them and see which ones that I'm gonna record on. And he's like, cool, but most of my beats come from Yuri.
Man, it's good that you're giving credit where credit is due, because we have to know that it's not we can't do everything by ourselves. It's always a team effort. And I'm glad that you're giving shout outs to Yuri and your man in Russia as well. That's fantastic that you can use the internet for good.
That's why his name, because he's in Russia. And I can't pronounce the Russian names. Yeah.
Well,
I can't pronounce them.
Judging by your DistroKid and maybe even your YouTube page, you've been putting stuff out there at least for 11 years. 98 and 2000, what were you doing to get your name out there? And were you the Nite Ryder back then?
Yeah, I was in the 90s and the early 2000s. I was in the streets mainly. I was rapping, but I ain't really take it serious. You know, I always can rap, but I just never took it serious. I ain't started taking it serious until like 2009 sometime. That's when I first started recording. Like I got a lot of stuff that I did back in the day that's not recorded. Yeah, we used to have little street ciphers and stuff like that.
So what was the turning point in 2008 where you said, "Man, I want to take this seriously. I want to do something," because there's always turns.
I had some sit down time. That's what happened. I had some sit down time. I had got shot. That's what happened. To be honest, I had got shot and I had some sit down time. So when I had to sit down time, I had to find something to do.
Well, and so I'm like, whoa. Your story takes an interesting turn. How did the Nite Ryder? What were the circumstances of the Nite Ryder getting shot?
Oh, my name. No. You know who I am. Yeah, from the streets. I'm strict. I'm really from the streets of Philadelphia. I'm not a 9-to-5 person that get up, go to work. I'm not that. I may do it now, but back then I ain't do it. Streets first, everything else second. So, and then like a lot of people, they were scared to fight me because they couldn't beat me. Like I said before, like they couldn't beat me. It was they ain't know how like figure out how can they hit me, stuff like that. They couldn't beat me. So they went to alternative reasons by going to get a gun. And I know the person that shot me or what. He's still walking around and all that. But this person that shot me, he had his name is dirt. Like he was never that guy that fought. So and that's how that turned. Cause I got shot in 2009. I had came home from jail in 2000. I got shot the same year I came home from jail for doing 3.5 years. And these people, they remember how I was before I went to jail. I was a terror. They had to find a way to try to remove me, and then it still ain't happening. It still ain't work, because, like I said, I'm a fighter, and by the grace of God, by the law upstairs, I'm still here. So that's how that turned out. I ended up getting shot and whatnot.
Well, I'm glad you survived. Here's an interesting question that kind of, interesting to me. You decide. What the time in jail how did that change you as a person? And the other thing was, do you feel like you deserved to go to jail for 3.5 years?
No, that the case to that, no, I wasn't supposed to go to jail at all because it was a dumb case and I wasn't supposed to go. People that actually, had something to do with it, they just hated me. That's all it was. It was all it was. They got on stand and they lied and they said all this other crazy stuff. And then, if you know somebody that knows somebody, which they knew somebody that knew somebody in the court system, they got me jammed up. Yeah. So that's how that transpired.
Well, and what do you think would have been better for you, rehabilitated? What do you think would be better for the Nite Ryder? Instead of going to jail, what would have been a better course for you?
Nah, not no jail. Jail ain't for nobody. Mm-hmm. I'm my worst enemy.
What do you think? School, social work, some other kind of guidance? What would have helped you better?
No, none of that, because I really ain't do nothing. See, that's the whole thing. I honestly say I really didn't do nothing. Yeah. They knew somebody. They knew somebody that was in the system, that's in the system up there, that's in the court system. Mm-hmm. And they used that person to have me jammed up and have me in jail.
Man, I've heard enough podcasts. I've heard enough stories
for 3.5 years.
Yeah, I've heard enough podcasts. I've heard enough stories about jail to let me know that half of those people don't need to be there. Half of those people should not be there. There's 1,000 people a day going to jail here in this country. 1,000 people.
Only people that I consider that need to be in jail, that should be in jail, is rapists. They should be there. They should be there in the hands down. They should be there. Mm-hmm. Rapists. People that mess with kids. Mm-hmm. They need to be there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But other than that, no, man, I wouldn't wish jail on my worst enemy, man. That place ain't for nobody. Ain't for nobody. And then you got the guards and all that. That they not for you. You know, they all the way against you. They think they better than you because, you know, they get to go home every day and stuff like that, not knowing like how your lifestyle is outside of jail. And then, you know, when you come in the county in Philadelphia, they, at the time, they don't have as many jails now because they tore one down. But they have quite a few jails. And when you come in the county, they look at you like you on drugs or something, because a lot of people that's on drugs come through there. Not everybody be on drugs. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. No, I just watched a movie called Felon yesterday on Netflix with Steven Dorff was the main actor, and he accidentally killed somebody, and they sent him to jail for 3 years on a plea deal, and then he ends up going into jail, and he has to learn the system. And since he's a white guy, they put him in with the Aryan race. So he keeps on having to fight with black folks, and he has to fight with Latinos. And I don't know how much of that is true, where you got to try to fit in.
No, that, yeah. Philly jails, well, the county, it's not like that.
No.
They got little cliques and whatnot, you know, but it's not like that. It's not like that. Well, it's different. It depends on what part of the country you're in, because it is like that in certain parts of the country. It's just not here. It ain't like that now in upstate. It's not like that. They have it, but it's not like that for the most part, you know. But they do have it in certain parts of the country, because Philadelphia ain't the only place I've been in jail. I've been in jail in Beaumont, South Carolina too. So that's why I say I know, because I travel.
How about the difference between jails in the North and jails in the South? Did you get treated differently?
They feed you better.
In the South?
They feed you better.
That's so funny, man.
You really eat.
Well,
they feed you better. Because I know when I went to jail down Beaumont, South Carolina and whatnot, they gave you grilled barbecue chicken. You know what I'm saying? Like, it looked like the chicken's on steroids. And up here, you get lunchable trays.
Man, I think that's been going on for forever, since this country was founded, since before this was a country. Because I know that the pirates or whatever, I'm from the Florida Keys, and I remember they used to tell us, the criminals used to eat lobster, because the people that were, you know, in charge of the jails didn't want to have anything to do with those lobsters because they looked ugly. So criminals had all the good lobster. And then the jailers figured out, hey, that lobster's tasty. Give me that back, you know. But yeah, I could see people feeding you better in the South, because we do some good cooking down here. I'm originally from Miami, but now I'm in Arkansas. So yeah.
No, my family is originally from Beaumont, South Carolina. Okay. I was born and raised in Philly. My mom was born and raised in Philly, but my grandmama on mom's side is from Beaumont, South Carolina. So they so I've been back and forth down there all my life.
Okay.
As a kid.
So
but
what did you get from being in the South? I mean, besides the jail time, we could skip that part for now. We figured it out. You're out of jail. You did some bad things. You didn't do some bad things. You got jammed up. You went to jail. You know, so yeah. But you know, when you were not doing time, when you were in South Carolina visiting your family, well, what did you get from them? Was there music there, or was there, you know, what kind of activities were you doing down south?
When I was down there, for the most part, it's no, I was just down there helping my grandma. That's what I was doing.
Well, that's a good boy.
Down and helping her and trying to stay out of trouble at the same time.
Okay. Well, grandmas usually know a little bit better. My grandma still throw a shoe at me. 91 years old. If I get out of line, she's throwing shoes. You know, so
yeah. My grandma, she's still around. You know, she's still down south or whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll do the same.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
good. You got some discipline there. You got the work ethic from mom. You got some discipline from grandma, from dad, and maybe the hustling part. Maybe the part where you don't want to work 9 to 5. Maybe that's what you got from your dad.
What I got from my dad, man, I don't think I got anything from him but basketball. I'll tell you the truth.
There you go. You got some sports. So you got an idea of hey, there was a dude. He made at least he made he put some sperm out there and it became me. There you go. But
Yeah.
all right. So you get out of jail 3.5 years and bam, you get shot right away. What? Were they waiting for you?
Nah. They wasn't waiting for me. Well, what happened was when I came out, I was chilling in like when I first got out, but then I went back to the streets. Before I went to jail, I had where I'm from. I was selling a lot of drugs, and nobody really was really making no money. So they thought I was coming back to lock the section down like I had it before, which that wasn't the case. I just wanted the money. I ain't worrying about locking those section down.
Well, I mean, that's what I've always heard about selling drugs is the high risk and you get high reward. You make some money, but there's a high risk because for some reason the government's against you because, I know it needs to be regulated, but that's going to cause a problem with the criminal area of it. If they regulate it and you got to go to a distribution center to go buy your marijuana or buy whatever pills you want, then that's gonna have the street people really upset. I don't know. Should it be legalized or should it not be legalized? Tell me.
Marijuana, yeah, because it's not really bad. It's not really harsh. It's a drug, but it ain't one of them drugs, that had you freak out and all that other extra stuff. Like a lot of drugs that's out here now. These drugs that's out here now, they make you hallucinate. They make you go crazy. They make you do a whole lot of stuff. So marijuana, depending on what grade you get, it mellows you out. It has you on chill. I never heard of marijuana making a person trip out.
Now, by the same token, I'm hearing about these distribution centers. There is no mellow marijuana anymore. It just keeps getting more THC up. People just want hard high.
No, they got no. I forget the name of it. I gotta ask my son.
Okay,
but they got one. It'll keep you up. The strain that'll keep you up, and they got one that'll make you sleepy.
Yeah,
So that's how the medical marijuana. That's how they doing it. That's how they doing it right now. But yeah, like I said before, I never heard of marijuana making anybody trip out, like doing nothing crazy. Never heard. So yeah, they should legalize it in all states because I never heard of somebody just went to smoke some weed and just went on a rampage.
Man,
never heard of it.
I've never done it. My mom, she's a child of the 60s, so she did it. And I could say that because she was on the podcast and she flipped me out with all the stuff that she was doing that I had no idea that she was doing growing up. But this war on drugs, man, was the newspaper guy Hertz didn't want hemp to offset his paper products. So he started the war on drugs back in the 30s. And then it wasn't until President Nixon in the 70s really kicked it up a notch, man. And people just started going to jail left and right. So I don't know how it was in Philadelphia, but definitely in New York, the crime rate went up only because they made things crimes that weren't crimes before. You were allowed to, you had cocaine in your Coca-Cola. They
Yeah, I remember that. No, I don't. I ain't that old to remember that, but I remember that because the ones that passed away, they told me about the cocaine and Coca-Cola and all that. I was drinking Coca-Cola, had cocaine. It was like, yeah, I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, I mean, the '50s were a weird time. It feels like, if you were too anxious or nervous, the doctor would say, "Here, have a cigarette, man. It'll calm you down." And then they figured out the cigarettes are bad for you. So the science changes. I'm glad that things are starting to get legalized and regulated. That's the thing, is the regulated, because when it's on the streets, you were just saying, stuff could be laced with all kinds of things. You never know what you're getting.
It is. Yeah, it is now. It is now. Everything is laced, especially in Philly. They lace it with this one specific drug. Everything is laced now. So gotta be careful what you're getting and what stuff like that, because you're running into some lace and you ain't never coming back from it. And what I mean about that, it had your mind.
Yeah, just like rich people can trust their doctor or whatever. You got to trust your dealer. And I don't care if people get high, man, as long as they handle their high. Kevin Smith, the director of Jay and Silent Bob, that guy, he said, handle your high. And I agree wholeheartly, man. You can get high. Just handle it, man. Don't cause any trouble. You can sit in your house or, in your own front yard, whatever. Handle it. Don't go messing with other people. But yeah, man, I'm glad that we're chit-chatting about this, man, and I'm getting your thoughts on what's going on with drugs. And all right, so marijuana, bam, regulate it. But when you take that off the streets, then that's one less thing that somebody's in Philly, for example, can make money
off of, regardless how it goes. They can legalize all they want. You're gonna always make money off of marijuana.
It's always on the streets.
It's always gonna be on the streets. So it don't make a difference if they legalize it, because you got it in certain states it's legalized, and you still make money off of it.
Okay.
So they make money off of it regardless. There's some other drugs, some harsh drugs, that they need to really crack down on or whatnot.
So the Nite Ryder, were you the singing, rapping dealer? Was that your niche? Was that how you got him in? That you give them a little entertainment. I'm trying to get us back into the rapping and how that came to be. You started recording.
No, I ain't sing. I ain't rap song. I ain't none of that.
Nope. You were just straight business. Well, good, man. Well, but you got out of that. You're done with that. So about 10 years ago, 11 years ago, you got serious. Did you go to a studio? Or did you record yourself?
No, I started in a home studio.
Yeah, I tell people, for $1,000 or so, somewhere around that, save your pennies. If it's something you want to do, you can get some pretty decent equipment at your house. Nice microphone.
But you gotta know what you're doing. Yeah, you're right. It don't cost nothing to get the actual equipment. Don't cost nothing. What it do cost is, time. That's what costs.
Yeah.
If you don't have the time, if you're not serious about your craft, I don't care what it is. It could be music. You could be working on houses. If you're not serious about it, then you're not gonna go nowhere with it.
Yeah.
But if you're serious about it and be consistent with it, then you're gonna go somewhere with it. And me, the only problem I had is the jail thing. That's what kept me from doing a lot of stuff. I cut that out, and now I'm doing, oh my goodness, so much.
Well, good. You're done with that. You got a Yuri that's helping you record stuff, or at least make beats for you.
No, I record with him too.
Oh, you record all of your own stuff.
Yeah. All my music is coming from out of that studio.
Excellent, man. And what kind of equipment are you putting together? Maybe you could teach some people what they need. What's the minimum that someone needs to make a good track that maybe somebody will buy, possibly?
To make a good track, you don't necessarily got to be hot. You just got to have a good delivery, and you got to have a catchy concept. If you got a catchy concept, you're going to win. But if you got your concept is not catchy or nothing like that, then you're not gonna win. That means you're gonna have to work really, really hard to have somebody want to listen to your music. So, and then, like I said before, if you're not serious about it and you don't want to perfect your craft, it's all about perfecting your craft.
All right.
You
So
don't want,
what do you do?
yeah,
Do you go to open mics, or
no,
or is it all
no,
recorded and put out on DistroKid or something?
no. Well, to perfect what I do, because I got a unique style. Don't nobody have my style in the world. I don't care. Don't care who it is. I got a unique style, and don't nobody have my style in the world. You have to sit down. Like for me, what I did was I used to just let a beat run, and I just used to rumble on words, rumble on words, rumble on words, rumble on words, rumble on words. Then I sat down and write, and then when I go to record in a studio or something, before I got with Yuri, when I go to record in like other studios or whatnot, I had already this beat, whatever beat that I had, I probably already wrote like 20 songs to it or freestyle 100 songs to it. So when I go in there, it's easy. It's just easy for me to just go. You just got to stay with it. It's practice. Like they say, practice make perfect. If you want to be perfect, you got to practice. So,
well, you already have an interesting style. You don't write the song first and then record it. You record it, you write it after you've already sung it. And that is totally bananas to me. Usually people, write a poem or, write some lyrics, get prepared, then go to the studio, spend some time. No, you go completely the opposite way. You spit, and then write it down. That way you'll have it for the next time.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. That's an interesting thing. Is that something that you've never written anything down ahead of time?
Not really.
Not really. But all right, who's influencing? Okay, I'm 52, so I'm 80s rap was definitely me. But who's influencing 42-year-old Nite Ryder that you feel?
My favorite rapper is Tupac and Biggie. My favorite is Tupac.
Yeah.
Then Biggie, and then I got the Wu-Tang, and then I got it's a lot that influenced me. Wu-Tang, Biggie, Tupac, the whole 90s, and a little bit of the 80s, because I got a picture on Facebook with me. I think I was probably like 8 maybe, and it was Christmas. I was down south, and I'm rapping at the mic. So it was always in me.
Amazing.
Well,
Amazing. Well, my favorite's Heavy D. Always Heavy D, man. That the way he rapped for me, and the style, and the way he looked, and the way he dressed, that was me. That was me growing up.
Heavy D and the Boys. Rest in peace, Heavy D.
Rest in peace, Dwight. Oh, for sure, man. So, all right, you started recording it, and did you put it straight out on YouTube, or I mean,
I hold on. Like I got records now,
and who?
I got singles now.
How are you getting those records out, man? How can people, if you're not performing live, if you're not at least going to an open mic, or are you performing live? Have you taken this on the road?
Yeah, I've been down and I perform live.
Okay, what kind of parties are you doing? What kind of events?
Plenty of times. I perform live plenty of times. Out the state, in the state.
What's the first?
Live plenty of times.
How long ago was the first one, and what kind of event was it?
The first one it wasn't an open mic, but it was a showcasing.
Yeah.
In Philly. Yeah, it was showcasing in Philly. Then a couple showcases in Philly. And then I went down to Atlanta to a showing down there. Now, like, I'm just working on music and having people gravitate to it, and how I'm getting it out and getting people to know about me through like Spotify and all that stuff. I got people behind the scenes that work with me.
Well, how do you get involved in a showcase? Do you have an agent that helps you, or is it somebody in the family?
In Philadelphia, you don't need no agent in Philadelphia. You don't need that for the showcasing. And for real, you see, Philly, they be weird sometimes. It's my home city, but they be weird sometimes because they be wanting you to pay for the showcase. You know what I'm saying? And no artist is not really supposed to be paying for any type of performance or anything.
Now, I have heard of that. Talking to different musicians, like say, if Future comes through and he says, "Hey, Nite Ryder, I want you to open for me, but you got to pay me $500."
Oh, I'm not doing that.
But you get the exposure of having Future, all his people, or say Jay-Z. Yeah. Jay-Z, I'm gonna give you a chance.
And the reason why I'm not doing it, right? Because I'm paying him to open up for him. No, you should be paying me to open up for you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but the chance,
even though that I'm opening up for you and whatnot, you the headline. You the headline act. So the undercard should get a little money, not as much as the headline,
right?
But a little money,
right? A little piece.
Yeah, because recording, it's not free.
Nope.
It's not. I don't care if you got a home studio or not, because you always got to upgrade your equipment because always new plugins and all that stuff. So it's not free. It's not free. So if you kicking out money to go perform.
Yeah, people have to make their own decisions on that because, when they go, say you are opening for Jay-Z or Kanye, if that ever happens, then you could sell your merchandise. Then you're paying for the chance to get from this level to that level, to get a little bit higher up on the levels.
I never took the easy route. So that, to me, that's the easy route.
Yeah.
I never took the easy route. I like to do it from the muscle, and that's not from the muscle. Even though you're coming out your pockets and when you're paying somebody, and it's not always a guarantee because there's a couple showcases I've been to, wasn't always a guarantee. So it's pick your poison, pretty much.
Oh yeah, there's two different guys. One guy got given $10,000, and another guy earned $10,000. Had to work his butt off. Which one do you think had the better experience for that? You don't get a hand to
the one that earned the $10,000, not the one that was given.
Yeah.
He earned that. So fans though that he earned it, he's going to cherish it. Now the one that was given, he ain't putting his all into it. They just gave it to me, okay, and that's that.
Yeah, he bought a bunch of shoes or whatever. Bought himself a car. Whatever. It didn't mean anything to him. The other one, savoring it. Just so yeah.
Right.
This work ethic that you have, it's not a bad thing. You're going to work twice as hard. You might get half as much, but you're going to get there, man, because you have that work ethic that you learned from your mom and your grandma and even your dad.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a worker. That's what I do. I'm talking to you now on the podcast. I'm working.
Yeah,
I'm working. I'm over here going through emails, stuff like that. That's what I'm doing. Like right now, as we talk. That's why my eyes is on the screen and off the screen, on the screen and off the screen.
Well, I mean, we got an idea of who you are, and I think the people know who the Nite Ryder is and how you became who you are. You have some albums out there. Where can people find those albums, and how can they get a hold of that music and possibly pay you so you can start making a living on this thing?
Man, I'm on all streaming platforms, Spotify. I just took down probably like seven songs off of Spotify. I took them down. I took them out the stores.
Okay.
Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, wherever you stream your music, you can find me. All you gotta do is type in Nite Ryder, NITRYDER, and I'll pop up. And if you can't find me there, Google me.
Now I did Google you. It was kind of hard to find you. I found you mostly, I got your Facebook and such, but you have the Trenches song, And if you deep in the trenches, if you look up Nite Ryder with running in the jungle, it pops up. But I got your Twitter, I got your Facebook, I got your YouTube, Instagram, DistroKid.
I fixed that. I'm gonna do that right now as I'm talking to you. Fix. But yeah, running in the jungle. That's not even out yet.
Right. I saw the little tease on that. That's pretty exciting that I wanted to talk about that because I heard some of the stuff that you had on your YouTube, and yeah, you got an interesting style, man. If all that just pops out, live with no pre, no pre-work. I mean, yes, the work is that you've been doing this for at least 11, probably more like 20 years that you've been.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a minute, but I've been recording for about, I say 11, 12 years.
That's where I'm at. Yeah, that's where I was thinking. But you've been doing this such a long time. It's not like you're doing it from nothing. You have stuff in your head. You have the ability to put word together, put phrases, put ideas, concepts, in an interesting way that people are going to want to listen to it. And that's something that I can't do. I talk on microphones to people that are talented, just like you. And I'm amazed by you, Mr. Nite Ryder. I'm impressed by, all the hardships you had to go through. I mean, everybody goes through some kind of a hardship, but some people, arguably it could be worse than another person, but I think there's a saying that I've heard: if you put your problems in a pot with everybody else's and you saw what everybody else was going through, you take your problems back because your problems, how to handle stuff.
Yeah, and I've been, dealing with problems all my life, so I'm a pretty strong individual. So I know how to deal with them. If I don't, I take a deep breath, 2 steps back, and then I go and tackle it. You know what I'm saying? So I know how to deal with them.
Well, one of the biggest challenges you got right now is those 2 kids. Making sure that they become good people.
Well, my son, he's cool. My son, cool. It's just my daughter. And
9 months old. She's already in the house.
Yeah, she lets you know she here. Yeah, we do.
Well, all right, Nite Ryder, man. I don't want this to be the last time that we talk as we wind this thing down. As things pop up, as things happen, I want you to come back and chit chat with me. It doesn't have to be a whole hour like this, but certainly, if you have new stuff that you want to promote, hey, come on back, man. The What Makes You Famous podcast. Now, usually I wind these. Oh, are there any shout outs you want to give to people as we wind this thing down?
Shout out my team, Yuri, my right-hand man, Low, my family, all the ones that have been in my corner from day one. Everybody else, I'm not really worried about them. Just the day ones, just the day ones that have been there from when they first started, first took off, and still there. Not the ones that, he popping right now and want to jump on my coattail.
Watch out for those hooks, man. They're coming.
Yeah, that's the clout chasers. And yeah, just shout out my family, Yuri, my right hand Low.
All right. Well, I mean, usually I finish these things off with last words for the people. This could be like words to live by, something you heard a long time ago, maybe a words of wisdom, or, something you wake up with every morning, or just whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. Nite Ryder, last words for the people.
Man, whatever you like to do, and, your craft, perfect it. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. You could be an engineer, a rapper, singer, work on houses, a doctor. You ain't going to perfect your craft and you don't take it serious, then leave it alone. But if you want to take it serious, put your all in. Just put 100% in, 1,000% in, just put it in. And then you'll see the outcome because I'm living proof. I put my time in and the outcome. See, I'm on a podcast right here. The outcome. And I did the groundwork myself. Nobody else did. And to speak on agents, I don't have an agent. I booked all my shows. You know what I'm saying? So that's to let y'all know that if I can do it, y'all can do it. It's hard, but it can be simple.
Well, there you have it, party people. The Nite Ryder. Ask for him by name. He's a good rapper, man. He really is. He's a good dude. Spending an hour with him, listening to his story. He's come through a lot of hardships, but through those hardships comes creativity. And that's what he did, man. He turned his life around, and now he wants to put those experiences that he's had to music and spit it out just for you. So find him on. I'll put all the links to his various social medias in the show notes. There's a lot of different, like Distro Kid. It's Hyperfollow, Nite Ryder. But then his Instagram is The Realist in the Trenches. YouTube is Nite22801. Facebook is Nite22. And then I should have asked him about the Twitter, Deuces Wild Dent 22. I need to find out more about that. Maybe the next time we talk. Maybe you can ask him. How about you ask the Nite Ryder why that Twitter handle? All right, party people, that's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. If you, yes, you, I'm talking to you, would like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email info@radiowhat.com. That's it for me. It's KeysDAN, radiowhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.